it was all stress induced. And somebody said the body keeps score, like all of those open loops, all of the pressure, the overwhelm, it takes its toll.
Yeah.
And the leadership team at the company was feeling it as well. So that was a good wake up call for me. I just decided from that moment, okay, I need to figure out a better way to create a healthier business, healthier life. So I went out on a mission to do that. And I came across this book called Traction by Gino Wickman.
Hey everyone, it's Jenn Foster here with the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. And we're really excited today to have Will Watrous here with us. And he is passionate about helping teams achieve their biggest goals. With experience leading 4 different companies, ranging from 3 to 250 employees, he understands the challenges of business owners firsthand. So we are excited to welcome him. He has done amazing things in business. And we're going to talk to him today about how we can learn what he knows so that our businesses can be awesome too. Welcome, Will.
Thanks, Jen. Great to be here with you.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be who you are today.
Yeah, we could talk for a long
It's
time
a
about
lot.
that. Yeah, I'll narrow it in I think the most powerful experience for me was starting a company. And this was back in around 2010, 2011. And it grew slowly, did pretty well as a marketing company. And I want to say about 7 or 8 years ago, we had one year where things grew tremendously, got a bunch of really big clients, new clients, which was awesome and exciting, but it wound up also being very stressful to the extent that I had some alarming symptoms show up in my body. In fact, I remember making an appointment to go see the doctor, and my wife came with me, and when we went in and the doctor did his thing, poked and prodded, left, came back a few minutes later, and he said, "You're not going to what I'm about to tell you." But, oh, okay, you have my attention now. And my wife's eyes got about this big. And so he said, "I think you're having a stroke right now, and I want you to get in an ambulance and go to the emergency room." I'm like
Wow.
in my early 40s at the time. So that was very scary. And any good entrepreneur would, I said, "Can I just drive? I feel okay." He
Right.
said, "You can if you want." But so I drove myself to the emergency room and spent a couple days at the hospital. They did all of these tests, and it wound up being a type of migraine that presented as a stroke. So I
Oh,
was
wow.
not having a stroke, but the migraine made it look like I was. And it was all stress induced. And somebody said the body keeps score, like all of those open loops, all of the pressure, the overwhelm, it takes its toll.
Yeah.
And the leadership team at the company was feeling it as well. So that was a good wake up call for me. I just decided from that moment, okay, I need to figure out a better way to create a healthier business, healthier life. So I went out on a mission to do that. And I came across this book called Traction by Gino Wickman, read it. It made a lot of sense. And again, as any good entrepreneur would, I thought, oh, I can do this. And so I went about trying to implement that system in the company and didn't do so great, didn't really make much of an impact, and then wound up hiring an EOS implementer who is like a outside person, a coach who walks you and the leadership team through the actual implementation process. And it was a game changer. We continued to grow rapidly. Morale improved. The leadership team, it felt like we went from herding cats every day. I love that expression. I use it all
Yeah.
the time because it's so descriptive and so
You're right.
represents what it
Picture
feels
it,
like.
right? It's
Yeah.
drill those gaps. Yeah.
Yeah, we went from that to functioning as this high performance team. And then net profit went from 6% to 34%. And
Wow.
so needless to say, I fell in love with this whole thing. And along the way, it also created a lot of freedom for me as the owner. So about 4 years ago, I stepped away from the company. I still own it passively now. And all I do is work with other leadership teams, helping them implement EOS in their businesses. And it's something I feel really passionate about because I know firsthand the change that it made in my life personally. And I've got young kids, and
Yeah.
they're not young anymore. They're like 14 and 17 now. But I've got a family, I've got a leadership team. They have families. This is important work because this
Yes.
affects so many people that aren't even in the office. And I feel it's very true with every business. The ripple effect of the health of that company is broad and wide. And so this work really is powerful and meaningful for me because it removes fear from companies and from employees. It gives people a sense of purpose and contribution. They feel like their gifts, their reason for being in the world is making an impact. So I'll stop there, but that's
Yeah.
the fast version of how I got to where I am now.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's just address what you were saying about the stress, because I think as entrepreneurs, I've built a few companies and I know there's a lot of stress behind being an entrepreneur and the ups and downs and the different things that happen in your company. And if it's not addressed, if you just push it aside, then you might end up with staying a couple days in the hospital like you had to. So for you to come to that realization and then work on it, I think that's really important for people to think about and to take a little 360 view of their lives that could say, am I more stressed than I need to be? And how can I fix that?
Yeah, 100%. And I love the entrepreneurial spirit, right? A group of people who just say, let's figure it out. And they just jump in and they find ways to get it done.
Mhm.
And that is a beautiful, wonderful thing. I think the world needs that, needs lots of it. The danger is that they keep trying to figure it out themselves. And the hard thing is that that gets you pretty far. Like that spirit, that attitude, that approach of just pulling things together, having a vision, selling it to that vision to people, getting other people to help you jump in and accomplish it is a wonderful thing. And it gets you pretty far. The danger is thinking that it will continue to work that way for an extended amount of time. And it does not if you don't have some structure, if
Yeah.
you do not build it around a set of principles. And
Mhm.
why figure that out on your own? Maybe you
People have
can.
already done it, right? Why reinvent
Yeah,
the wheel?
exactly. And I'm not here to preach EOS or anything, but
Yeah.
this business system is being used by hundreds of thousands of companies all over the world. There are like 870 people who do what I do on
Okay.
all the continents. And so why hit your head against the wall and when you can use a system that's proven it just works?
Yeah. Tell us
And
the basics of EOS for those who've never heard of it. I know
yeah,
I've heard of it because I do some networking, but the
yeah,
EOS system, or what does it stand for, first of all, and then what exactly is it?
yeah. EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. And it's a complete system with a set of simple, practical tools that help business owners and their leadership teams do three things. I call it vision, traction, and healthy. Vision from the standpoint of first getting your leaders 100% on the same page with where is this company going and how do we plan to actually get there. Traction from the standpoint of helping your leaders to become much more disciplined and accountable so they're executing really well on every part of your vision. And then healthy meaning helping your leaders to become a more healthy, functional, cohesive leadership team. Because unfortunately, leaders often don't function well as a team. And what we found is, as goes the leadership team, so goes the rest of the organization. So we get to the point where everyone in the company is all crystal clear. They're all fully aligned with the vision. Wherever you look in the company, people are executing on that. They're making progress. They're gaining traction toward that vision. And they're doing it as a group of people who enjoy the work that they do and the people that they're around. So we call that healthy.
Yeah.
And it is a remarkable, proven, simple, and I'll emphasize the word simple here because I know you know this too, Jen. When you're starting a company, like we were talking about the entrepreneurial spirit, you just grab ideas and tools and you wind up with this Frankenstein. You've got multiple operating systems. We use this for that and that for this. And you piece it all together. And I said, there's a lot of wonderful magic and power that comes from that early on. But at some point, you've got to commit to one operating system to keep things as simple as possible. You're always fighting against complexity in business. And the more people you add, the more tools that you add, everything becomes inherently more complex. So you need to have something that is just very simple. Keep it simple. And less is more. All of those kind of fundamental ideas are truly powerful game changers for companies who are trying to break out of that kind of chaos state.
Yeah. And if you don't have a system in place, or if you're just trying to do it all yourself, which I know a lot of entrepreneurs do,
Yeah.
then you do end up maybe in the hospital or with some type of health issue because you're so stressed, right? Because you don't have a system, you're trying to figure it out and create your own. So tell us, what are the biggest challenges that business owners face today, do you think, and how could EOS help them?
The biggest challenge is this is what I hear when teams come into this room. This is my session room. You can't really see it, but I've got this table here and a giant whiteboards and everything. And when they come in here, what they talk about are things like communication, accountability is a big one. They feel like there's a lack of accountability, that we agreed to go a certain direction, get something done, and then it doesn't happen. Goals are missed, deadlines are missed. Forgot to silence this thing. Okay. Another thing that I see show up is profitability. They're working really hard, but don't have the profit to show for it. And they didn't sign up for a nonprofit. Like you have to have margin. You have to have operating reserve. You need cash. It's the lifeblood of the business. So not having enough profit is a big one. And as I mentioned, EOS has a simple tool set that brings clarity and simplicity to the major areas of the business. The EOS model has identified 6 key components, we call them. Every organization has these 6 main areas. Here's the big insight. Most entrepreneurial teams tend to struggle with 126 issues simultaneously. But to the degree that you can strengthen the 6 key components of your business, all of those 126 issues tend to fall into place because they are actually symptoms of a real root cause rooted in one of those 6 areas. So if you'll strengthen the 6 key components of your business, all of those things fall into place and you wind up having something that's healthier, more efficient, more profitable. Communication is clear, accountability. One of the big tools we use is something called the accountability chart, which makes it crystal clear to everybody in the organization what are their main responsibilities, how do they contribute to the overall success of the company, and what am I as one of your 40, 100, 10 employees, whatever that number is. I'm crystal clear on how I'm contributing to the success of this company. I see the big picture, and it's clear to me what my skill set needs to be and what my performance needs to be in order to help the company get there. So the accountability chart is, and everything I'm saying, by the way, about US, Google it, chat it, YouTube it. There's tons of content. If you just did EOS accountability chart, there's 5,000 videos out there about how it works and what it is. So I encourage people to follow up in
Yeah.
places.
Well, when everyone's on the same page like that, and everyone knows what their role is and what their responsibility is, but they all have that same vision and goal because they all see the big picture, that's when everything can align. So that's great that there's a system in place for that and for everyone to know what their role is and because sometimes it gets confusing because one person's assigned, 2 people are assigned the same task or whatever, right? So,
Yeah, we tend to think, oh, there's a job description, right? But that gets thrown in a drawer as soon as they're hired. The reality of day-to-day work, week-to-week work, is often much different. There's so many nuances and things change. A company today is way different from a year ago or 3 years ago. Usually things are changing, and I would think especially today with AI and technology. But to consistently review that and have it as a working document and understanding where the pain is in the organization and being able to visualize that and see that, to have the context of the bigger picture, the structure of the company, it does create a lot of clarity and then a lot of growth and energy.
yeah. What's something that you've changed your mind about in business, and how does that change how you see entrepreneurial companies?
Yeah. So when I started my marketing company, one of the clients, the niches we got into was healthcare, and we had a lot of doctors. And for whatever reason, growing up, I had always put doctors on a pedestal, right? They're these revered experts and they're just so smart, and they are. But what I didn't realize early on was that they have blind spots just like everyone else, meaning they have strengths and weaknesses. Like they missed that day in kindergarten. Everybody else knows it, but for whatever reason, they don't know it. Especially when it comes to marketing, more often than not, it's just obviously not their area of expertise. And so they're just showing up like a deer in the headlights with no real strategy, no real plan. They've just been reactive, trying to grow their practice. And so what that did is helped me realize that everyone has blind spots, that you need someone to come alongside and point out the things that you don't see. I'm a big believer in personal development. I have I mentioned Garrett Gunderson earlier. I'm in his mastermind group. I work directly with him. He's a financial expert. But I hire people in areas where I do commercial real estate. I have a commercial real estate coach. I hired someone because I could read dozens and dozens of books, but then still not have the experience, the real life experience that someone. I'm big on hiring mentors and coaches. But anyways, to back to your, what did I change? I changed my mind to realize that even though people have done amazing things, in this case, doctors, or at this table, I've got amazing leaders of huge companies, billion dollar organizations, but they're just people and they know what they know and they don't know what they don't know. Yeah. And we all need each other to gain experience and wisdom. And so it helped me with this. Some people call it like inferiority complex, or maybe there's another way, we something else that we call that, not inferiority complex. It's more when you feel like you're
imposter syndrome.
That's the one. Thank you. Imposter syndrome.
I'm like, I know it's up there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was drawing a blank there, but it really helped me not be so intimidated. People are just people. I don't put them on a pedestal anymore. They need my help as much as I need their help. And I have an area of expertise and experience that I can add a ton of value to their lives. And they can do the same for me or others. And so just not seeing people as being this, even if they've done amazing things, that doesn't mean that they don't need help. It doesn't mean they know everything. It doesn't mean they're perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I think that's one thing that I've changed my mind about.
I think that's true, because I see in my business and in my real estate investing, I'll look at someone and see their expertise and think that they know everything that I know and more. And I put them up on a pedestal because I see their successes. But then I realize I actually do know some things that I could help them with, and they know things they can help me with. And that synergy and that team and the leadership from both of us is what's going to create both of our businesses to excel. So that's really good. My business partner and I have been learning a lot. We have a couple masterminds where we're learning a lot of it. And she, and then this other woman that I was just having a one-on-one with, was showing me how to use this software to find real estate deals and everything, because I couldn't understand how to use the software. But then I was telling her some AI stuff and helping her with using one of my favorite new tools called Whisperflow, and some other tools like GenSpark or Gemini, because people just talk about ChatGPT, or they haven't tried or play around with Claude or any of those other ones. So I was telling her about some of these things, and then I realized, like, she knows a lot of stuff and I know a lot of stuff, and together we can do a lot together. So.
That's it. It's a beautiful story that exemplifies it perfectly.
Yeah, I think it's really good. So tell us a success story that a company that has come to you that you've helped them with EOS and now they're more successful. Tell us the story.
Yeah, honestly, that is just a really common narrative, a really common story within EOS. Yeah, as I said, it's proven it works. And there's lots of stories, is my point. I'll pick one. This is a company here in town, and they have been around for 30 years, 35 years. And I was at their annual planning session. This is a couple of months back, and the owner pulled me aside and he said, when I signed up to do this with you, if you had told me at that point what we were going to accomplish over the course of the year, I would have said, no way. I've been doing this. I know this business. I know this industry. I know this team. There's no way we could do what we've done. He said, but we've done it. I can't. He said, and here's the thing that really blew my mind and made me so grateful, was that he said, I am sleeping better than I've ever slept. He said, I have a better relationship with my wife than I've ever had. He said, I've been spending more time out of the office doing stuff that I enjoy than I've ever been able to spend. And this team is healthier and stronger than it's ever been. And that is a lot.
Yeah.
That it impacted me deeply to hear how it affected him personally. But then not only that, the team was healthier and stronger and less dependent on him, because he's wanting to step away and follow other passions. But he can't do that when he's getting sucked into every fire, every emergency. That he's the 911 call.
Yeah.
And now the team has developed systems and processes and a culture that has allowed the leadership team to step up and operate as a true leadership team. And it's created, the company is thriving. They're financially, they're more profitable. It's just in every way. It's been an improvement. So that's one of many
That's a great
stories.
story. Well, and
Yeah.
I think it's very relatable because I think a lot of business owners fall into that where they are the one that everyone calls. They are the business is centered around them, and
Yeah.
they're the ones running it, and they do get stressed and they can't sleep and they're worrying about this or that or the other. But it sounds like with your system, with the EOS system, then there's things that are put into place so that any business can run the way it's supposed to run, and you can step back. I think the big goal for most business owners and entrepreneurs, like when they set out to create a company or start something new, they're not envisioning themselves working 24/7 or even 70 hours a week or whatever it is, 60 hours a week. They're not envisioning that. They're envisioning a lifestyle and envisioning what they could have by working for themselves and not for someone else. But
Yes.
sometimes they fail to see that they do have to hand it over to a team. So it sounds like the EOS system helps you to really organize your company and have that operating system that will work 100%. And it sounds like that's what, if someone is struggling, if there's a business out there, a business owner that's struggling or can't sleep at night, they're like, you need a system. So call Will because he can help.
Yeah, and so I work in the greater Tulsa area, and like I said, there's hundreds of us all over. And all what I love about US is the community is so strong and healthy, and it's built on people who have been there and done it. It's not just people who want to teach and just enjoy
Yeah.
teaching. They have to have done something. They have to walked through the fire, and so the whole EOS community is amazing. But I would say this too. So yes, it makes organizations less owner dependent. A lot of owners who love being an owner and want to be that visionary leader. And what EOS does for them is allows them to operate in their area of unique ability. And this is a term Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach in Toronto really teaches
Yeah.
consistently.
Loved it, Golden.
Unique ability is just what do you love to do and are truly great at. And typical founders, owners, visionaries, just being in the minutia, the project management sucks the life out of them. They can do it and they have done it, but their cup is filled by being a visionary, which means creative problem solving, strategic networking and relationships, often driving the culture of the organization. But they don't want to get down into the day to day, holding people accountable in tough conversations and figuring out all these little issues. They want to stay at the 30, 40,000 foot view, and they thrive there. They could work all day long in that arena and still be energized at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so EOS is an operating system that allows their company and their leadership team to handle all of those other areas that they don't enjoy and are not good at, so that they can operate in their area of unique ability.
Awesome. Tell people where they can go to find out more about EOS so that they can solve their big business challenges and have a simple operating system. Tell them where they
Yeah, LinkedIn is great. You can find me on LinkedIn, or EOS Worldwide has a directory of all the implementers and lots of information on there as well. It's eosworldwide.com.
Okay. And you can work with anyone anywhere, right? It doesn't have to be just in your
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, I can. I'm primarily here in Tulsa, but I can work in other areas. I do have other clients. And let me do this. I'll just define typically. So our ideal client is typically 10 to 250 employees, typically 2 to 50 million in revenue. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but that's more of the sweet spot. And I'll say this too, that the owners and leaders are growth oriented. They're more afraid of status quo than they are of change. They're trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're usually stuck and frustrated and have tried a lot of different things and just aren't able to break through the ceiling. They have drama. There's sometimes turnover. Sometimes, as I said earlier, profit is not what it should be. And they just need to install a system that will help them get where they need to go.
Awesome. You guys can check out Will Watrous on LinkedIn, as well as you can see in the show notes, we'll put a link up, as well as You can find him, I'm sure, on other social media and YouTube because this video will be on YouTube. But please hit subscribe. And if this resonated with you or you know someone that would like to listen to this podcast, please share it with them as well. Thank you so much, Will, for being on the show today.
Thank you, Jen. Great to be here.
Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full-spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.